Britain, 1960, a nation electrified by invention, music, and the promise of the open road. In this golden era, the British car industry produced a staggering 1.36 million vehicles, outshining all of Europe as style and technology collided on streets from London to Monte Carlo. The story goes that these cars became icons overnight. But what most never see are the risks, the near failures, and the design miracles that almost didn't happen. 60s British cars, legendary icons from the industry's brightest era, isn't just about beautiful machines. It's about how genius and rebellion built legends like the Mini, the Jaguar E-Type, and the Aston Martin DB5. But how did one tiny car rewrite every rule? And what decisions nearly doomed it before it became a champion on rally stages and a symbol for a generation? The answer changes everything you thought you knew about Britain's brightest automotive hour. Alec Isigonis sat at his drawing board, pencil in hand, determined to solve a problem that others thought impossible. Petrol was scarce, cities were growing, and families needed a car that could fit 4 people without wasting an inch. The answer was radical. Turn the engine sideways, mount it up front, and drive the front wheels. This simple idea, the transverse engine layout, squeezed 80% of the Mini's 10-foot length into cabin space. It was an engineer's puzzle, solved with stubborn creativity. Factory memos show how Isigonis fought for every detail, from the sliding windows, cheaper and lighter than wind-down glass, to the compact suspension that freed up precious inches. Even as the board worried about costs and complexity, his persistence won out. By the time production was approved, the Mini stood as proof that bold thinking could reshape the everyday car. John Cooper saw something in the Mini that others missed, a secret potential for speed and glory. With a few racing tweaks, the humble city car became a rally weapon, taking on giants twice its size. In 1964, the Mini Cooper S stunned the world by winning the Monte Carlo Rally. It did it again in 1965, and once more in 1967, each victory fueling a legend that stretched far beyond the rally stages. Suddenly, everyone wanted a piece of that magic. The Beatles ordered custom Minis from Radford, each one tailored with wild interiors and private plates. Parked outside Abbey Road or zipping through London's nightlife, the Mini became a badge of cool, as much at home in the winner's circle as on Carnaby Street. What began as an engineer's gamble ended as a pop icon, proof that British ingenuity could turn necessity into desire and utility into aspiration. At the Geneva Motor Show in 1961, Jaguar's new creation arrived not with quiet fanfare, but with the screech of tires and the ticking of hot engines. Malcolm Sayers' design was so advanced, so fluid, that even the engineers whispered it looked fast standing still. The final prototypes barely made the deadline. Norman Dewis, Jaguar's chief test driver, was told to drop everything and drive the open-top E-Type through the night, covering 600 miles from Coventry to Switzerland in a single, breathless run. He arrived just in time, the car still streaked with road grime, but ready for the spotlight. The press, jaded by years of chrome and convention, fell silent. Here was a car that could touch 150 miles per hour, with independent rear suspension and a monocoque body, yet cost only £2,097, less than half the price of an Italian rival. Enzo Ferrari called it the most beautiful car ever made. For the first time, supercar speed and style were within reach, not just for the jet set, but for anyone bold enough to dream. Aston Martin's DB5 was always more than just a grand tourer. Underneath its hand-shaped aluminum panels, Tadek Marek's straight-six engine delivered 282 horsepower, but its real power came from a twist of fate in 1964. Eon Productions, hunting for a car worthy of James Bond, struck a deal that would change both cinema and motoring forever. Aston Martin, wary of stunts and spotlight, lent 2 pre-production DB5s to the Goldfinger set. No money changed hands, only a handshake and a promise to repair whatever got broken. John Steers and his team worked late into the night, fitting the car with gadgets, a bulletproof shield, rotating number plates, and an ejector seat that nearly tossed a stuntman through the roof. Only 1,059 DB5s left Newport Pagnell, each one assembled with the kind of care that made waiting lists stretch for months. After Goldfinger, the DB5 became a global obsession. Every schoolboy wanted the toy, every collector wanted the real thing. Luxury, danger, and sheer exclusivity, all wrapped up in British steel and Bond mystique. The MGB arrived in 1962 with a promise that seemed almost too good to be true. A proper British sports car for just £950, built not for the privileged few, but for anyone who wanted wind in their hair and a badge of pride on the bonnet. MG's engineers swapped the old-fashioned frame for a new monocoque shell, giving the car a lower stance, more space, and sharper handling than its rivals. The gamble paid off. Over 500,000 MGBs would leave the factory, with more than 70% shipped overseas. American buyers snapped them up, and MG worked overtime to meet new safety and emissions rules, tweaking bumpers and engines to keep the dream alive. Club racers found the MGB easy to tune, dealers loved its reliability, and soon it was as common on California highways as it was outside a British pub. For the first time, open-top motoring belonged to the many, not just the few. Colin Chapman built the Lotus Elan around a single obsession: lightness. At just £1,500, it weighed less than half a modern family car. The secret was a backbone chassis, a slender steel spine supporting a fiberglass shell so thin it flexed under your hand. Every ounce saved meant sharper steering, quicker reflexes, and a driving feel that bordered on telepathy. Club racers flocked to the Elan, chasing lap times and grinning through corners. Years later, Mazda's engineers would strip down an Elan S2 in their workshop, measuring every detail as they designed the first MX-5. Chapman's mantra, "Add lightness," still shapes the world's best sports cars, proving that genius sometimes comes in the smallest package. In 1960, Britain's car industry produced a record 1.36 million vehicles, with the Mini's 10-foot frame and 80% cabin space setting a new standard for compact design. The Jaguar E-Type stunned Geneva with a 600-mile dash and a price of just £2,097, while the Aston Martin DB5's 1,059-unit production and Bond partnership made it a global symbol of prestige. The MGB sold over 500,000 units, with 70% exported, proving British sports cars could reach the world. Colin Chapman's Lotus Elan, weighing only £1,500, showed how technical purity could shape future icons like the Mazda MX-5. Yet, questions remain about archived boardroom debates and the full extent of design risks taken, as some documents are still unreleased. Today, these cars are celebrated in museums, clubs, and on roads worldwide, their influence visible in modern engineering and design. The evidence is clear. The 1960s set a benchmark for innovation and cultural impact that endures in every British classic still admired and driven today.